I think for Spencer's situation, anytime you get a chance to play, there's always value and lessons in that, no matter the circumstance. I thought, he handled himself well last year competing and navigating, potentially a few that are a little bit of a challenging situations. And then for any guy in general, your second off season is always a huge jump. I think that's historically everyone, references that as that second year jump for these guys, because the first year, there's a little bit of swimming, going into that. You go right from your college season right into that the draft process, which is a long process for these guys, and then we throw them right into football again. And so they've been through a lot. And so that second year, you find some rhythm, you find some continuity in yourself. You're able to kind of build your own off-season program, and so Spencer's doing an excellent job.
The New Orleans Saints have been in one of the more intriguing spots of this year's NFL offseason, and now it just got a little bit more tough. However, we just got some really good news that we're going to break down in just a second. With Derek Carr retiring from the NFL, it left him in a spot where who knows who that starting quarterback is going to be. And to be honest, the most experienced quarterback in the room is Jake Haener, who just suffered an injury and will be missing the next couple of weeks with that injury. Now, from there, we've actually seen a lot of good things happen, including Spencer Rattler having a career day at practice, going 8 for 8 in team activities, did not miss a single pass. Okay, we just saw a clip where, Kellen Moore was very excited about the potential growth of Spencer Rattler going into this year's NFL season, but they also drafted a player in Tyler Shough in the second round, who they actually are pretty high on. Now, he's a little bit older of a quarterback, but was probably the most NFL ready outside of Cam Ward in this year's NFL draft. Now, I have no idea who the day one starter is going to be, but I'll tell you what, the wide receivers, the coaching staff are really thrilled about where this team is right now because the quarterbacks look really goddamn good. Like I said, Spencer Rattler was amazing. Tyler Shough looks amazing, but they also have a new guy on the team. You're going to see right here. Deckers, right? His name is Deckers, Hunter Deckers. He is a player who I believe missed all of last year with eligibility or suspended. I think he was suspended all of last year. But John Gruden, going through those quarterback camps, absolutely loved this dude and thought he could be an NFL quarterback. So now you have 3 young guys, 2 rookies, and Spencer Rattler plus Jake Haener in this quarterback room, all competing, okay? Now, the good thing about competition is it makes everybody play better. It makes everybody rise to the occasion, because if you don't, you're going to lose your spot. If you don't look really good, you're going to fall down the depth chart. Spencer Rattler is a guy who I think could be a day one starter for this football team. I think Jake Haener was taking first team reps before the injury, and then they gave him to Spencer Rattler, with Tyler Shough being the number 2, but I think there's a lot of room to grow for both of these guys. Now, another big part of practice has been the success of Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. Now, over the past couple of days, we have heard people come out and say Chris Olave is on the trade block. Potentially the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns are offering deals to go out and get Chris Olave, but the Saints are sitting back saying, we don't want to give up Chris Olave. We think the quarterback room right now is a lot better than people think, and we think we can win games this year. So the last thing we want to do is go out and trade one of the best wide receivers in football in Chris Olave. Yes, he has some head injury concerns, but I think he's going to be okay. And I think this roster is a lot better than people really think. Now, again, as a pair, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed have been ecstatic about this quarterback room right now. It's a lot better than a lot of people are thinking. And as these guys continue to build more chemistry together, it's going to be fun, right? As a pair, they haven't been out on the field too much since last October. That was before Shaheed suffered a season-ending meniscus injury, and then Olave was sidelined with a concussion for the majority of last season. But right now, both of these guys appear to be fully healthy. At least on Thursday, the guys look really good, and the quarterbacks really benefited from having these guys out on the field. Like I said, Rattler went 8 of 8 during team period. I believe it was just 7-on-7s, while second-round draft pick Tyler Shough went 7 of 8. So you're talking about through 16 passes in 7-on-7s, they had 1 incompletion. Shough connected with Shaheed on a deep ball down the sideline. in which Shaheed beating his matchup with the double move, while Shough bought time with the pump fake. Rattler also looked really good, hitting Chris Olave over the middle a couple of times during practice yesterday as well. Now, in the session, Rattler worked with the first-team offense, while Shough worked with the backups. Kellen Moore told the reporters that the plan is to rotate these guys day by day throughout the offseason. There were some teams that did that last year. For example, the New England Patriots with Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. One day they would have Jacoby Brissett be the starter, and then day 2 they'd have Drake May, and then day 3 Jacoby Brissett would go back and be the starter. So I think that is something very similar that we could see with this New Orleans football team during not only OTAs but mandatory minicamp and training camp as well. Every single day you're probably going to get someone new practicing with these starters, with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. So that's going to be a really fun thing to keep track of. Now, before we get any further into this video and talk more about Kellen Moore and the quarterbacks, I need you guys to do me a big time favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Helps out the channel so much. And comment down below P2, right? We're just in the beginning of OTAs. We still have a couple more weeks of OTAs, and then we have mandatory minicamp, and then from there, you have training camp. So if you want more of these videos throughout the entirety of the offseason, all you got to do is hit that like button and comment down below part 2. Now, most importantly, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because it is free. It doesn't cost anything to join the family. Like I said before, we got you guys covered off-season and preseason, regular season film analysis as well, breaking down some all-22 coaches film. If you guys want more of these videos, let me know in the comments. With that being said, let's dive back into the video. Now, another big player at camp so far has been the offensive line looks a lot better, and there's a lot of position changing so far. I mean, Trevor Panning's looking at left guard, going from right tackle last season. Felice Fuaga was last year's left tackle. It looks like he's taking Penning's old spot at right tackle. Now they have Kelvin Banks coming in, their first round pick this year, worked at left tackle after rotating several spots during rookie minicamp. It looks like they feel comfortable with him playing left tackle for this football team going into the start of the season. Now, another thing that we actually really like is new defensive coordinator Brandon Staley's defense looks a lot more versatile than it's been in the past. Now, they used this defense in a lot of different ways, right? In the nickel, you can come down with 4 defensive linemen. They do a lot of different things for the defense. Now, the overall lineup, the depth chart right now, looks really good. And this is what I mean when you talk about a team that looks better than you think, right? You have Chase Young, you have Devon Godshaw, who they bring over from New England, kind of plugging up that 0 and, 2 technique kind of role within this defense. You got Brian Bresee, you got Carl Granderson, Isaiah Foskey, Cam Jordan. The defensive line looks really good. And then you draft Vernon Broughton in the 3rd round. I thought he was a big pickup here for this defensive line, just adding more depth. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles kind of give you the blueprint of how to win a Super Bowl. You need an endless amount of depth to get to the quarterback, rotate guys in. That way everyone's got good stamina. And I think they did exactly that in this year's NFL draft. Linebacker core, Pete Warner and Demario Davis, alongside Danny Stutzman, who they drafted in the 4th round. Everything just looks really good for the defense. You had a safety in Justin Reed and a DB in Isaac Yiadom, who's coming over from, I believe, San Francisco. You draft Quincy Riley, who I don't believe was practicing with the team. I think he was out, but he could be a really good player for them as well. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor, alongside Tyrann Mathieu. Jonas Sanker, who they drafted in the 3rd round. This team has depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. If they can just hit on one of these quarterbacks, this could be one of the best teams in football next season. But again, I think it's going to take some time for these guys to develop in that quarterback room. Now, let me know what you guys think overall about this year's Saints team. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.